proud of you.
Repeat after me. You stay within.
Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. This is the Young Heiress. In today's video, I wanted to start a new series of videos that I wanted to share with you very recently. So through pandemic and the lockdown, we've been spending a lot of time at home, and a lot of people have, I think, taken their time to really take the effort and the time finally to start their own business from home. And I've always been dreaming of the same thing, and I finally got to nail a couple of things down. And so I've also recently started my business from home. Especially I've given birth to my first child, and it gave me a lot of time to sort of stay at home and do things at home. And so I wanted to go through that journey with you, and at the same time sort of share how you can also start your own business from home with the purpose of starting Instagram shopping. And so that's sort of the big theme around it. And so through a series of videos that you could probably follow as well, that I hope it can help you to set up your own business using all these different tools that is available online, either free or not free. And I'm going to use my brand, which is the Eve Shop, which is also this cute sweater of seamless neckline that I'm wearing from this season. I set up my online business for Eve Shop as well for the purpose, I'm suddenly going British. I actually did learn my English from England when I was little. Anyways, for the purpose of setting up Instagram shop, and also since I just spoke in British English, later on the series I'm also going to share with you how I posted my products on open markets, including a British platform I started using very recently. And so in today's video, which is the first video of the series, I'm going to share with you the domain setup and the Shopify setup. And so let's get to it. And while I'm showing all these things with you, I want to share a screen. So I'm going to do a virtual Zoom with you that you can see that I'm going to do the screen capture of my Zoom. So let's get to it, and let's get a bit business sassy today. Oh, I mean business savvy. What the hell? So in today's series, I wanted to talk part one about choosing your domain. And so when it comes to choosing your domain, you might want to brainstorm and also research at the same time. So what I mean by brainstorm is because your domain name is equivalent to your brand name. And so whether you are selling a product or a service, you might want your domain, which is your brand name, to reflect what you are providing or selling. And so while you are doing this part of the brainstorming, you might want to also start researching if it is an available domain name. And so for me, I like to do that research on Godaddy because for me personally, it listed the cheapest domain price that is available. And this video is not sponsored at all, so you are free to choose your domain name from whichever hosting site that you want to choose. But personally, out of my experience, Godaddy had the cheapest listing price, and so I use Godaddy all the time. And so I am also on Zoom with you guys, and so I'm going to start sharing my screen to show you how I chose my domain name, which is what I'm going to show you on share screen. So let me just start my Zoom. Hi guys, welcome to my Zoom meeting. So we are going to start sharing screen. And let's go to see Godaddy. So I am already logged in to my GoDaddy website. And because currently I'm in France, it's showing in French and also GoDaddy France. And so since my brand name is Eves, I'm going to search which domain name is available. And by now I've already registered, but when I was registering as well, eves.com wasn't available, and it was probably available to be sort of mediated by one of the people who work at GoDaddy at a really high price. So I eliminated eves.com right away, and I went on to what are the other available like domains. And so as of today, it's showing eves.fr, which is at discounted rate of 7.99 euros. And as you can see, eves.com isn't available, and it's available with the service of like sort of counseling at 121 euros, 0.19 euros, and these prices are for a year. And I know like if you divide that price into per month, it's not super expensive, but if you see other like listings names at their available prices, that's actually really expensive. And so I didn't choose that at all, and I went for choosing other options that's available. As you can see, there's Eves Online. You can do eves.co, which is more expensive than eves.com. Blah blah blah. There's eves.eu. Eves.org. When you put like org, it sounds like organization. It doesn't really sound like business. And so I don't like to choose org. So for me, I narrowed it down in between eves.store and eves.shop, which is more close to what my brand is about because it's a clothing store. And so in the end, I ended up choosing eves.shop because it sounded like go and shop, my brand. And so I chose eves.shop, and let's see how much I paid. So I ended up paying I think around 3.99 euros. Okay, so now I have paid for my domain for 1 year of using it. And because I paid for my domain name, which is registered under my account on GoDaddy, worldwide, on World Wide Web, on the internet, it belongs to me. And so why am I talking about this? Because the ownership of your domain is super important later on, because I'm going to go on to setting up the Instagram shop. And when it comes to setting up your Instagram shopping, you need to have the ownership of your domain. And so register it for your own like ownership, and you're good to go. So your domain is set up, and later on we are going to come back here to connect your domain with your website itself. And so now you have an address to your online shop. So you have the address. So if you type on it, it will direct to a certain page. But your page itself, it doesn't exist yet. So for you to design that page, there are many different services, and let's go on to that part now.
Family. You better.
Okay, I have finally put my baby to sleep. So I hope he'll be sleeping by now for about like 20 minutes that I want to film this part, which is super important. So next up, I'm going to talk about setting up the Shopify. So there are many reasons that I chose personally Shopify, and not because I'm sponsored at all. It's just because for me, Shopify was the easiest option for me to be able to connect my online platform to Instagram shopping. Bear in mind, there are many other hosting sites that also give you the same type of service and also allow you to connect your online shop with Instagram shop. So Shopify isn't the only choice that you have to choose from, but for me, there were many other reasons that was easier for me to use Shopify. And so as I go along the way, I will explain what those are. And so let us go back to our Zoom and let me share screen with you. Hello. Welcome to the new Zoom. So let's now go on to share screen and go to my Shopify account. So basically, when you are starting off with Shopify, like I just explained, there are many other hosting sites that you can choose from, but Shopify for me was the easiest option. So let's go through that step by step. And because I'm already using Shopify, I'm logged into my admin page. But for you, if you haven't chosen one yet and you want to choose Shopify, create your ID to log in. And it will give you 14 days of free 14 days free trial, meaning like without having to use a paid option for using Shopify, you have 14 days to try out different things if Shopify is fit for your business or not. And basically, if you are going to end up using Shopify, it also means that it gives you 14 days upfront for you to try to set up your storefront without paying, let's say, rent in a fixed store situation. So you can try different things before you publish your website to be live, which is I personally found very useful because I could try different things to see what my website is going to look like before I set it up live. So coming back to my admin page, and I'm low on battery. So once you have created your Shopify ID and logged into your ID, you are going to come to this admin page. And so first and foremost, you need to do two different things. So first, you might want to choose your theme. And there are many themes that you can choose from. There are free themes and there are paid themes. For me, I just chose from free themes. And my theme currently is called Simple. And why I chose this theme is because I personally upload new products every week. And if I chose other types of themes where you have different layout and you have some fixed images that will first pop up as your first website page that comes to your eyes when you log in, when you go onto your website, I need to keep changing this image. And so when I have like new products to introduce to my customers every day, I prefer to have a layout that shows the newest items to the first view first. And in my perspective in Korea, where there's a lot of online businesses doing their online clothing store with the same type of idea of uploading the newest items first, there's actually a really popular hosting site in Korea which is called Cafe 24, and they basically have this kind of layout as their sort of default layout, because a lot of online shop like owners are using this hosting site. So I just want to show you an example of a Korean online store that is using Cafe 24, which is this one. And as you can see, excuse me. As you can see, their website is almost like Instagram feed, because all of the new products that they upload is like pushed to the very top. And so you see the feed almost like an Instagram grid, but when you go on top of it, it's actually their product feed. And so this brand is also using Cafe 24. Okay, I just had to change batteries. Plug in my battery cord for my MacBook because I've been battered out and I'm so tired of juggling all this through filming, whatever. Okay, so back to the Cafe 24, and Cafe 24 is a super popular hosting site for Korean online shop owners in Korea. But since I am not based in Korea, this hosting site wasn't really suitable for me because it's actually good for connecting your online store with online marketplaces in Korea, which is the marketplaces that is available for Korean customers. And since my target isn't Korea, it's actually France and the rest of Europe, I couldn't choose Cafe 24, so I ended up choosing Shopify, but I wanted to have very similar layout. And so back to Shopify, I ended up choosing the theme Simple because if you see the website, here's my admin page. You can actually see that all of my new products are pushed to the top of the page with the new this week, which is the title that I added. But once I upload new product, it will be pushed to the top and the front of the page. And so for me, this theme was super simple, but it was easy. And from the towards the bottom of the page, I can still put like the about of the brand and other things about the brand to explain the brand story. And so I chose a Simple. And also it's a free theme, and it was easy for me to just set up the shop as it is. Now going on to a little bit of the pros and cons of Shopify. So as simple as it looks, it was really easy for me to set up my shop front using Shopify. Because once I had my product pictures ready, I just needed to upload what they told me to do, including like, for example, the header, which is the logo right here, and then the sidebar, which is the menu here that I've sort of organized as different category of my clothing. And then I have new this week, which is, like I said, the title that I put. And then eventually I have all these products. And then towards the bottom, I have a little about of my brand, which is where I get to explain what my brand is about. And then I've also added a YouTube video about my brand. And then if we go to the footer, we have the links, which are going to be my social media links, and then search, which is sort of navigating through the website. And then I have some of my business registered information, because this is more like obligation for me, because I'm a registered business in Korea. And then at the bottom, I have available payment gateways that I've chose with Shopify. So as you can see, this first page, it took me really fast. Like it took me, I guess, less than an hour in order to set up this page, because obviously it doesn't include the time that I spent to take the product pictures. And I hope this noise isn't so much bothering you guys. Maybe we'll just wait a little bit. Okay, so that was why I chose this theme. And also now the pros of choosing Shopify is that once you choose a theme and once you have the product pictures ready and all of your sort of like brand story and things that you want to write ready and sort of the brief layout in your head, it's really easy to set up. You need to just pop in all of the images that they tell you to put in, and then once that's done, it's already good to go. Meaning all of their framework for the website, all of their little like details of the bleed, like how much, if you see like in between these images, so if you see like in between these images, there's a certain gap, so like how much gap there is in, and like what kind of layout they're gonna use in order to show the caption of your product, and what sort of like layout that they're gonna use on the sidebar. All these things are already sort of preset within the theme that you choose. So it's super easy for you to set up. And then on the top of the admin bar, you can also choose like what kind of things that you wanna put in your product page. But basically they've already set up the basic layout of your product page, so that once you've uploaded these images and your sort of caption, they're already going to lay out in a certain way that they've decided for this particular theme. Now that's a pros, because that's really easy for you to just like put in, and then once you click like save, it's going to publish it the way that they've coded that theme to be. But the cons in a way is that for you to be able to like sort of decide on how much gap you want, like how much like the layout to be customized for your own like design aesthetics, you can't really do that. For example, in Wix, if we do a little comparison, I used to use Wix for a different website before, and in Wix, they will let you choose all of this little details on the bleed, like how much like blank space you want. They'll allow you to do that, although it's not super complicated like coding. They've already sort of made it super like user-friendly for their UX design to be super easy for you to do those little adjustments. Whereas in Shopify, it doesn't at all. And so if you're looking into like controlling every nitty-gritty details of what your website is going to look like, it's not gonna be the best choice for you. But if you want to just save a lot of time and have everything set up so that you just need to upload your product and your product details, Shopify is super easy. So that's one pros and cons at the same time. Okay, so next part that I want to explain is because we've done the domain part, let's connect your domain with Shopify. So like I mentioned, when you pay for your domain, it's literally for you to have the rights to use that domain name for the duration of time that you've paid for. And that name doesn't connect automatically with the storefront that you're designing. So you're gonna have to do that by yourself. So now we are back to the Shopify admin page, and on the online store you can see domains. Now mine is already connected, so you can see that your page that you are creating on Shopify is connected to your domain name that you've paid for, which mine is Eve's Shop. And so I've already gone this through, but on like from Godaddy domain hosting to connecting it to your hosting site on Shopify, it's not as complicated as some other things I'm going to show you later on the series. So I'm actually going to just put a link below where you can simply just go through the steps in order to use the Godaddy domain right here, where you can add your DNS and then just connect that with Shopify. So I'm just gonna put that link below and you can follow that. It's pretty simple. And so once you've done that, you'll see that back in your Shopify admin that your domain that you've actually chosen is connected to your Shopify. So that's about it for connecting your domain with Shopify. And now it means that with the domain name that you are paying for, you will have the shopfront that you are actually designing online as well.
I'm so proud of you.
And so next up, I want to talk to you about Shopify plans. So once your 14-day free trial is over, you'll need to have chosen a Shopify plan so that you can actually put your live site to be sellable, like meaning like all of your products that you're selling or your services that you're selling, it will be actually live and like available for you to use in different platforms once you start paying for your plans. And so before your 14 days is over, it's really important for you to go through what the plans offer you and choose the right plan. Here are the 3 Shopify plans, and as you can see, the 3 plans have really different price range. So I think depending on your monthly budget for your business, it's really important to choose the right plan for you, because for example, in the beginning, it's also very likely that you'll have probably no sales because online shops don't immediately create sales right away. And if you have an overhead fixed cost of almost $300 per month just for you to maintain your Shopify store, it's pretty expensive. And so you want to choose correctly within your budget. And so personally, I'm only using basic Shopify plan, and I want to show you what those plans offer. So at the bottom, these are the basic features that all plans offer, starting from the basic plan. And so you'll get your online store and you can upload unlimited products. You'll get 24/7 support from Shopify, which I'm not so sure because a lot of things are actually available on the Shopify blog where they show you how to do stuff. So you can mostly follow those steps. And at a certain point, if you have some troubleshoot or you need to like solve certain problems that are particular to your case, like you can post like problem shoot, I think, and troubleshoot, I mean, and then they'll try to solve it to you, but it takes a lot of time until they'll get back to you. So I'm not so sure about this part. But anyway, there are other good things too, like if anyone came on your website and they didn't end up actually checking out to the product, they'll still keep this record and then they'll try to send an email back to that person saying like, are you willing to buy this product again, which is called the abandoned cart recovery. And then there are other apps that you can connect to your plan. But this part, I want to explain to you that for the apps that are connecting you to certain shipping apps, it's not available with basic plan. What I mean by that is that like since like all this like huge market explosion with e-commerce, I think there's a lot of effort for you to reduce shipping costs because a lot of times like online products are probably cheaper than physical products, but then what costs more sometimes is the shipping methods and the shipping rates. And so if you want to reduce your shipping rates so that your customers are going to be more likely to buy your products because your shipping rates are good, you want to use different like third-party shipping like apps or like services that allow you to offer a really like appealing shipping rates, which that are available through Shopify. But from my experience, when I wanted to connect those shipping apps to my Shopify admin, I couldn't because I was on a basic plan. Basically, for you to be able to do that, you need to pay this advanced Shopify plan, which is the only plan that allows you to connect the third-party shipping apps with your shopfront on Shopify. So that I am trying to solve it because if I don't use those third-party apps, my shipping rates go a lot higher and it's definitely not an appealing shipping rate to my customers because my product range is not super high-end. It's like sort of affordable luxury in a way. And so when let's say like 7 to 10% can be added as your shipping rate, it can seem very expensive compared to the product that you're buying. And so that's one of my challenges for using basic Shopify plan, and it could be yours as well. And so that's one thing to consider. And then there are other many things that are still good. For example, there's this thing called Shopify POS Lite. So what this is that once you have your Shopify set up online, and let's say one day you wanted to participate in a flea market or a pop-up, which is a physical sort of store that you want to set up for a couple of days or just one day for you to be able to sell the same product that you're selling online physically. In that case, I haven't done it yet, but I've seen other people do it, and I think you can either connect your Shopify storefront with an iPad, or if it's like just using your phone, then you can buy a small little square sort of card reader where you can swipe the cards for them to be able to pay the products that you are selling offline. So I'm not sure if with this plan you are able to receive like physical bills and coins and money, but as far as like reading the card and like swiping with for a transaction using credit cards or debit cards, you can definitely still use the basic Shopify plan and do these pop-ups using that little square card reader, which I think it's really good because it legit makes your shop look like a real shop, even if you don't have a physical shop, just because you're able to make those card transactions. So that's really good thing about Shopify, and that's one of the big reasons that I chose Shopify, because if ever I want to participate on a physical marketplace, I think that's really cool. without having to do a lot of different things. And so that's one other thing. And then yeah, so that's probably, oh, and there's one last thing. So one last thing that is really still good about basic Shopify plan is that they give you 250 free email blasts every month. So if you are able to have a customer list of 250 email addresses, then you can definitely create your email blast with a free app that they allow you to connect with your Shopify and create that email blast and send it out to 250 people. Which is like really good if you're starting off and you want to do like free like branding and marketing for your website, because usually with email blasts can be done using like third parties where you have to pay for them, where if you're doing like one by one, you will have to spend a lot of time making those email blasts like to be interactive and to be sent out to 250 people. But just by using the basic Shopify plan, you're able to do that, which I think it's really good, but I haven't used it yet because I don't have 250 customers yet. So, but it's still good to know, and it's still a good milestone for me to go to the next step and do my marketing by myself. And so yeah, so that's about the Shopify plan and some of the good things that I personally think is good for using Shopify.
I'm so proud of you.
My baby bear is up and my video is finally finished. So today I talked to you guys about setting up your domain and your Shopify. And so next up, I am going to talk about setting up the Instagram shop finally, which is going to be a bit complicated once you get into it. So let's see how that goes next time. And just a quick tip for the last part of today's video. As you can see, I'm with my baby bear, and actually working from home sounds very easy. It sounds like you have all the time in the world. You can be in your pajamas and work and you don't have to put makeup on. So it sounds really easy, but actually I know that it can be also really challenging because you actually have to be more disciplined, and you need to make sure that you set up a time frame for you to work and not do other chores and things that you get sort of distracted by at home. And also when you have like obligations as a parent and you have other things to do, you might just have to clear up your mind a little bit to really dedicate that time that you've dedicated to work so that you don't do other things, but you end up like sort of finishing the task of the day. In my case, I like to dedicate the morning hours, which are like from sort of 8 to 11 or like 9 to 12, to really finish the tasks that I've set up for that day. Because if not, for the rest of the day, I'll probably not end up having that 3 hours sort of set up for working intensively and sort of focusing, because I get to do like a lot of things that I have to do throughout the day and I won't finish the work. And so I know it's challenging at the same time, but dedicate those really good 3 or 4 hours for yourself to dedicate your work hours and get them done, and then move forward like that every day so that you move forward with your business and you get successful in what you have to do from home. And so I'm now going for a little walk with my bear because he needs a little fresh air, and so do we, and so do you. And so thank you so much for watching, and good luck to everybody who is in this. We are all in this together, and I hope to see you in the next video. So thank you. Bye bye. Bye. Bye.
Repeat after me.